Hey guys, this is Mark here from ShotKit. So today I wanted to give you three quick examples on how I think that we can use Lightroom and Luminar 4 in unison as wedding photographers. So here's some images that I shot recently in Bali, and as you can see, we caught like a really nice time of day here, just as the sun had set. And obviously, this is all well and good, but as we know, like as wedding photographers, we always get lumped with, less than ideal times of the day. And an example of this was right here. So as you can see, there's absolutely no detail in the sky. So if we edit this in Luminar 4s, what I'm doing, I'm just opening it from Lightroom straight into Luminar 4 as a PSD. And yeah, just a photo like this, like we've got this great opportunity for a photo for a moment, but the sky is less than ideal due to the time of day. So that's where I think that using a software like Luminar 4 is so powerful. So if we come over here, and now I've always forget where it is, it's not in the portrait tool panel, which is where I was expected it to be. It's actually in the creative panel. If we could click on the AI sky replacement tool and just head over there and start playing around and just inserting different skies. So you see, you just go and click on one and there's like a 1 second delay and then it just inserts a sky. So I'm just looking to see which one I find the most believable, and I think this one looks pretty good to me. If I just toggle that before and after, what I'm seeing here on the right is that the horizon line is kind of blended into the sea a little bit. It might be a bit hard for you to tell there, but it's kind of bled into the sea. So what I'm going to do is head over to the horizon blending and just have a play around with that. And you'll see there's a tiny bit of lag. Could be due to my screen recording software, but you can see that it's kind of trying to correct what's happening over there in the sea. And then if I grab the horizon position, it's going to push it way up too high, and then it's going to bring it down too low. This is just kind of showing you what's happening. If you double click on that, it will take you back to where Luminar thinks it should be. I'm kind of happy with the location of that. And if I hit apply, this is the best bit. So it brings you straight back into Lightroom, and then if I just toggle, if I just go backwards and forwards on that image, you can see, there's the before the raw photo to the right, and then on this one, this is the Luminar 4 edited PSD version. And if we zoom in, you can see what an incredible job it's done around the detail of the flower on the arbor, the flowers. If I just do a quick before and after, you can see that it's pretty much flawless there. I can't see any imperfections in the edit of the sky replacement, and around the features of the people there. It's even adjusted the tone and in the shadows, so that's overall pretty impressive. I'm going to show you this other image. That's the before after of my Lightroom edit. I probably could have raised the shadows a little bit more, but just let's use this image as an example. So again, editing it straight from Lightroom into Luminar 4. Going to wait a few seconds for it to load, and then if we just toggle off the looks panel, which are kind of like Luminar's presets, and that helps to speed it up a little bit, I find. And then if we go over to, again, the AI sky replacement, wait a second for Luminar to read it, and then just start having a bit of fun with what kind of skies we can put there. That's pretty cool. I didn't find that very believable though. Yep, that's pretty nice. Another sunset one. Obviously, you've got to think about the time of day that you actually took the photo, so you consider whether it's believable or not. That one looks all right to me. So I'm going to just have a look at the before and after and kind of see where it's done a good job or not. And you're probably seeing this as well. There's a bit of a gap in the sky there where it hasn't been able to replace the shadow properly in the cloud. So once again, I'm going to click over, this time into the advanced settings panel. So there's one here called close gaps. So I'm just going to pull that right up and down just to see what it's doing. And looking like close gaps has done a little bit. And then sky local as well. I'm not exactly sure what these things mean, but they do seem to do the job. So there's a tiny bit of lag there. I'm just going to do before and after. Oh, there you go, it's worked. So that sky local has filled in the gap there, but it's also, if you see down in that girl's armpit area, you can see the light seeping through. So I'm just going to play around until it's fixed with the sky local, and yeah, that's pretty much spot on there. And that looks good to me. I could have, like I said, raised the shadows on the actual girls a little bit, but it's a kind of a silhouette shot, so I'm happy with that. I'm going to hit apply, and that's going to process through Luminar 4. This is kind of like the plugin because it opens from Lightroom into like a temporary version of Luminar 4, and then that's going to be placed back right before the original image, so I can just go and toggle backwards and forwards. And then the beauty of this is that I can now edit on top of it. So if I just zoom in, I show you the detail that's been retained there on this girl's hair. It's pretty incredible how the sky that's been put behind it has like kept all these, you know, minute details in the hair, and then on this girl's face, the eyelash area, this girl around her teeth, and again the hairline. So that's pretty incredible. And what I was saying, the strength of this kind of workflow is that you can now use Lightroom's tools. So if I use the clone brush here, I can just get rid of that plane or the helicopter that Luminar 4 chose to add. But yeah, there's the final image. So that's pretty cool. I'm happy with that. I'll deliver that to the client as it is. I think it looks great. It's realistic, and it's got some nice atmosphere to the warmth of the sunset, and I think it's believable what Luminar 4 has done with the tones of the shadows on the girls. Okay, so moving back into Lightroom, this is a destination wedding I shot in France in a small town called Breteuil. And this was around 2-3 p.m, so pretty favorable conditions really. We had a bit of fun around the streets, and a little bit boring, as you can see. I was standing on a rental car taking a photo, getting a really high vantage point, and as you can see with the before and after, I haven't really done much to it. I've brought out the shadows a little bit, add a bit of punch in the vibrancies. If I go ahead and edit in Luminar 4, this is where another example where you've got one opportunity to take this photo and the sky isn't looking great. So you have the opportunity to use something like Luminar 4, and again, here we go, the sky replacement tool, and just have a play around to see what looks realistic to you. So I'm going to try one of these blue skies. Yeah, that's pretty horrible. Another blue sky. Yes, all right, it's a bit like a postcard. I'm not really keen on that, so I'm going to try dramatic clouds. Okay, so that doesn't look that realistic to me, but I'm going to go with it just to show you what we can do here. So there's the before after. Have a look at the tone of the red in the car there and see how Luminar has kind of tried to change the colors in the rest of the image to match the lighting in the sky, which I find pretty incredible. If we go down to have a look at the pro options here, so you can adjust the gradient that you can add a gradient, sorry, just using a top or bottom is what they called in Luminar 4, and it automatically kind of guesses where the horizon line is. And as you can see, I'm just changing the temperature there just to show you what's happening. If I toggle the gradient on and off, you can see that it's where it's added it. It's pretty much spot on the horizon line, but you can fine tune that. And then if you don't like what it's done with the gradient, you can actually use masks as well. I'm just going to tone down the saturation a little bit there because I think it's a bit too strong for my liking. It's looking a bit more realistic, and I'm going to just warm it up a tiny bit to try and get rid of the blues in the sky a bit. And then, as I said before, those are the masks that you can choose if you want to fine tune, but yeah, that looks all right to me. There you go, that's the before and the after. The more you look at the before, the more you doubt it. I'm just pointing out here the shadows of the car. I guess it's kind of believable, the direction at least, maybe not the intensity of what the sun would be like, but who knows. I'm kind of second guessing now, but if you look closely at the detail retained there around the trees, that's pretty incredible what Luminar 4 has been able to do with the just one-click sky replacement and retaining all that information around the trees and making it look realistic. All right, so I'm going to come back into Lightroom and just finish off this by saying, we're all ingrained in Lightroom. I've got all my catalogs there from like years ago of wedding photography. I've got a shoot-proof kind of export preset there for my albums, and all my wedding photos are all in here. So yeah, I'm not going to be coming out of Lightroom anytime soon. I'm just so used to it, as I'm sure you are as well. All the develop panel here, even though Luminar 4 does have a lot of that as well. I think that we can, it's easy to stick with Lightroom, taking advantage of, here are all the export presets that Luminar 4 doesn't have. But then use Luminar 4 as well, just to kind of take advantage of those AI tools, whether it's sky replacement or whatever. And yeah, just use the best of both worlds, really. So I hope that's kind of opened your eyes to what's possible.